What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host that really likes Irish wolfhounds and is curious as to what kind of dog you have. Let me know in the comments below. Zach, and today's subreddit is r/TalesFromTechSupport. This story's called Teacher Changes Classroom Weekend Before Day 1 and Then Complains. So this happened about 4 years ago. I worked for a K-12 high school. Not my current one, as the network manager, so it wasn't actually my job to deal with classroom issues. But I decided to help out since it was the normal start of year crazy time. Sitting at my desk, I am looking through the help desk's holiday logs and saw, yes, last week a full audit was done and all rooms reported working. Phone rings. Hello, IT, how can I help you?
I need help. Nothing in my room is working and it's the first day of term. I wish IT did their job better. I need my project day 1 of term or I can't teach.
Sorry to hear that. I'll be right there. Since everybody else is busy, I jump up and head over there. Now at this point, all rooms were the same. Large whiteboard on one wall that became the front, with controls to one side depending on how the rooms are designed. Can't always be the same side. And since help desk and reported full audit done, I was getting ready to get cranky that one room had been missed. Arriving at the room, it's 8:15 a.m. Roll call starts at 8:25. I walk in and instantly know the issue. I should have guessed with this teacher. Hi, so what's the issue?
My notebook can't project.
I notice she has no cables plugged in. Have you brought your notebook over to the control area and plugged in the HDMI cable?
I don't want to do that. My desk is over here now. Far side of the room.
Okay, can we bring your notebook over to check the connection first? She agrees, but isn't happy. The moment everything is plugged in, it works fine. I just look at her. Okay, so it's working.
But I want to plug it in over there.
That won't work. This room is set up over here and was tested on Friday to ensure it would be right for the first day of term. I'll bring it up with help desk that they didn't flag the desk had been moved.
I moved the desk on the weekend. You see, unlike IT, I worked this weekend to ensure the first day of term would have no issues.
Did you check the projector worked from that location?
No, but it should just work. Go and get me an HDMI extension cable.
I can't do that. We would need to get some duct tape or similar to secure the cable to the ground, and maintenance would be cranky at me if I did that. And it may not even work. 10 plus meters isn't good for HDMI, and there was already in-wall runs to go from projector to control area.
Or fine, I'll do it from here.
I smile, telling her we can work together to organize something that's good for everyone, but IT needs a heads up. I think everything is done and go about my day. 2 days later, I get a meeting invite from a deputy to discuss an issue. Turning up at the meeting, I see it is with the deputy and the teacher. Hey.
Morning. We're here to discuss an issue in classroom X where teacher feels you didn't set the room up. She had to spend her own money, and apparently IT is blocking it from working. Why is IT not helping her out?
I attended Classroom X on Monday morning when teacher called. Despite the business of the day, I attended in less than 5 minutes. The issue is that teacher had moved her desk to another area of the room and not where the school mandates desk should be.
But you said a longer cable would work, and since you wouldn't get it, I purchased a 10-meter HDMI cable from Retail Store X at a high cost, and you won't make it work.
Is there a help desk ticket about it not working?
No, you just aren't letting it work.
I'm sorry. Firstly, because you bought from Retail Store X, they sold you an overpriced piece of cable. Though, as I did say, it may not even work. You see, while you have used a 10-meter cable, that is to a wall port, we have about 7 meters of cable in the room to get from the projector to a workable space. And HDMI has issues over 10 meters, as we have found.
Could you have not told her that on Monday?
I told her a longer cable may not work. It isn't an exact science. It comes down to the type of cable, the projector, and the computer. I also advised teacher that I would be more than happy to organize a solution with her if she wanted, and was not asked any further questions.
So why did this only become an issue on Monday morning?
Because they didn't set up my room correctly.
That's not right. Help desk did a full audit of all rooms just before the term started. We do this in the last 2 days of holidays on Thursday and Friday to ensure all is fine for Monday. Though, teacher told me they attended school on Saturday and Sunday and moved everything around, including making a demeaning remark about working on the weekend to ensure a smooth start of term. Regardless, out of the 130 rooms we manage, this is the only room that did not work day 1 of term, and did not work due to it being rearranged after we checked the room.
So can we get the room rearranged to fit teacher's needs?
We can. Great, though I won't.
You see? They won't help.
Why not?
Because of the cost? To re-cable this room will require me basically redoing the room. Take a day and cost over $1,000 just to change the cable location. And will create a dangerous situation where teachers can customize every room and IT will be required to support whatever they want. We have a hard rule here that IT cables the most efficiently for the space.
Surely in this case,
I would require it in writing from yourself, CCing the business manager, like a CFO, that I am being asked to change a room to fit the teacher. And it would have to state that it is a one-off allowance so that we don't get this request next time teacher moves rooms.
Why next time? Why the request with the business manager?
Well, because my budget doesn't really have spare for keeping teachers happy, and teacher has only just moved into this room while other rooms are renovated. Within a few months, she could move again. Also, as I am sure you remember, we are moving to get rid of old teachers' desks, executive decision, so in my opinion, it's a waste of money.
Okay, thank you, I'll talk with teacher. Don't action anything.
Wow, just goes to show having a master's degree doesn't make you immune to being an idiot. This story's called Customer Bricks iPad, Threatens Legal Action. First, a little context. I, 31 male, work as a computer technician and salesman for a large office school supply retailer. It's my job to not only sell devices, but service them. As you might imagine, my position attracts a lot of older clientele, with the most banal questions and requests. Still, a lot of them are fairly self-aware in their lack of knowledge. I don't mind helping them out, and if I can teach them a thing or two, everyone benefits. Now on to the weekly feature. Though I wasn't part of the initial contact, a couple, let's call them Rachel and Frank, came in to replace an old iPad that had outlived its usefulness. She was maybe late 40s, Jamaican, and he looked early 60s, Canadian. How do you look Canadian? From my understanding, they didn't want us to set it up and they turned down AppleCare. Can't blame them for not paying for setup. It's easy enough for seniors to do, but this has an important consequence later. 3 days later, my supervisor, Sandra, 41 female, mentions to me that Rachel brought the iPad back in for us to set it up for them. No problem, I said. How far did they get? It was all set up, except they didn't know their PIN code to unlock it. After heaving a sigh, she recommends we wipe it and set it up new. While the process is going, we get their account info, as we will wind up hitting the user account lock soon. They gave us their Apple ID, but you probably guessed, they didn't know their password. That's still not an issue, it just prolongs matters. A simple password recovery will do. Well, that would be great, but the pattern continues. They don't know their email password. I pull Sandra aside for the next step. After letting out a groan, well out of earshot, we take note that their email address is provided by their IP. They'd have to call their IP, waste at least half an hour on hold, and get back to us with a reset password. We send Rachel on her way and we hold onto the iPad for when we get the call. The next day, Sandra gets a call from Frank asking why we can't just wipe it and why they have to jump through so many hoops. Where his wife was polite and understanding, Frank had a short fuse. Still, Sandra used her charm to reassure him. Fortunately, his irritation was well-deserved. He had spent an hour with the IP, only to choose then to tell us. He hasn't been with that IP for 4 years. They scrubbed the email account and can't do anything for a non-customer. Sandra tells him to have Rachel bring her PC in case I can reset it using iTunes. Sandra is already gone when I get there for her son's graduation and left me notes so I'm up to date. At this point, I'm having to go into the lockup so people can't hear my groaning. I had to be straight with her. It was hard because she was so nice throughout this whole thing. She can call Apple directly or take it to the local repair center Apple forwards claims to, but there's nothing I can do. She asked to use the phone to call Frank. I can see this coming a mile away, so I prep my best customer service voice and prepare to dig in. As I predicted, he wants to speak to me. The first complaint was valid. We charged them for setup work we couldn't fulfill. That'd be returned, no questions asked. I went over the situation with him slowly and explained the account lock he enabled. He explains to me that he did nothing, he didn't enter any info at all. All he did was hold the iPad over his phone when it asked him to, thereby transferring the account info. Apparently, I didn't make any sense because I should be able to just wipe it and start fresh. After a couple more times of explaining it, he asks me,
So, what are you telling me? The iPad is no good?
Unless that iPad can be unlocked by Apple or by the repair center, it's unusable, I said. At this point, he demands a refund. Yes, we will refund the labor for setup back to your wife's card. Boy, howdy was I stupid. He was actually asking for a refund on the iPad. And since we never touched it, we have literally no liability for what happened. He felt that we sold him something that he can't even use, and it's within the 14-day return period. I explained that because he had set up the tablet with his info, that the lock is in place because he can't remember it or recover it. Again, he says he never set it up. Of course, denying an already irate customer a $500 refund is gonna cause problems. To paraphrase Frank,
If you won't give me a refund, I'll talk to Sandra or whoever the manager is. I'll get legal if I have to.
I've only been in retail for 2 years, but I have enough common sense to know that when someone drops that word, you shut the hell up, Friday or not. I let him know that I can forward him to a manager that's in, but his wife will have to take it to the Apple Claim Center or call them. It was beyond my expertise and pay grade to represent the store if someone would be getting their lawyer involved. I knew he was blowing smoke, but you don't screw around with that. I returned the iPad to his wife, refunded the labor, and gave her the directions. She apologized for her husband, almost like she knew exactly what would happen. And it wasn't until after she left that I clued in. Crap, he's got the same Apple ID on his phone too. Watch him blame us for that too. Oh, it's very frustrating to not freaking remember your passcode. That's the problem with having biometrics. You don't bother remembering your passcode. I don't have that problem, thankfully. My brain is a freaking vault. You put something in there, and it might get lost for a little bit because it's incredibly unorganized, but it's still there somewhere. This story's called The Curse of Mobile Providers and Email. Long day but almost over, and just had this small victory with random information I remember sometimes. Here's the cast. End user, me. I get a call regarding someone not being able to load up email on their phone, and went like this. Thank you for calling. What can I do for you?
Hello, I just reset my password and everything is working fine, but now my email won't load on my phone. It's loading emails on my computer, so I know there are new ones, but they don't show up on my phone. Can you help me?
Sure can. Most likely we'll just need to update the password on your phone. Are you using the Outlook app, the only thing we support for mobile devices, or your phone's default email app?
Outlook.
Alright, so when you open it up, does it prompt you to update your password or anything?
It did, but I canceled out of it and I don't know how to get it back up.
That's what she said. Now, I am not the biggest fan of Outlook's mobile app. Probably because I just don't use it myself, so I haven't had the time to figure everything out with it. But I try, and most of it is really self-explanatory, I believe. However, this may not be the easiest process for updating a password, but it's how I do it. Alright, well, we will need to remove your account then and add it back. Can you swipe from the left and open the settings? Insert 5 minutes back and forth me trying to explain how to swipe in from the left, what the setting, gear, however you describe it icon is, and where to find it, and getting almost nowhere. Finally, Eureka! He finds the settings icon. Alright, go ahead and click on your account that says Office 365 for me, and at the bottom, hit delete account.
Done. Now it's asking me to put in my email address and add account.
Yep, so go ahead and fill that out after clicking add account. It should redirect you to our SSO page to log in on.
No, it tells me that it can't add this account right now.
Try adding it again with your other form of email address. We have like 15 username email address combos for people. This was one of them. Usually their default one was working, but occasionally it messes up, so I figured this was the case.
Nope, still giving me the same error saying that it can't add it right now.
Once again, insert this going back and forth for about 5 minutes. Restart the app and phone and check his settings to make sure his email isn't logged into his phone as well directly, just to make sure. You are connected to Wi-Fi, correct?
I don't have that, just this antenna thing you guys gave me for my laptop.
So you are just using data on your phone and not connecting to any wireless network?
Correct.
I don't suppose you have the only carrier I would ever refuse to get, do you?
I do.
Well, unfortunately, they don't allow you to use data while you are on a call, so I'll have to have you do this on your own. It should be pretty straightforward. After you end the call, go ahead and try to add your account again. If you have any issues, call me back. Checked his log 5 minutes later and he was able to authenticate it and didn't get a call back. I really sometimes hate mobile carriers. I bet it was Verizon. Those bastards, they don't let you use data when you're on a phone call. And I just accepted that as part of my reality. And then we got T-Mobile. So much cheaper, so much better. And it works when you're on the phone, the data. But now I'm on AT&T, which is not as good. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.